Now, the blockchain company Valereum has been given the go-ahead to acquire the Gbraltar Stock Exchange. The announcement paves the way for the exchange to accept all major cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, with me now are the chairman of Valereum, Richard Polden, and the chief minister of Gibraltar, Fabian Picardo. Fabian, let me start with you. I mean, stock exchanges are seen very much as a sort of sign of national virility, a bit like airlines. Why were you content to see yours being taken over?
Well, look, I'm the legislator, not the regulator. It's the regulator who makes decisions about that. But Gibraltar, as you know, has been at the forefront of welcoming the crypto world and regulating the crypto world. And I think what we are is an example of regulation in this new space, which I think the rest of the world will want to look at and learn from. And that's why I think Gibraltar is doing something which is very important in regulating the space and giving people confidence that a regulated space is better than an unregulated space in respect of crypto and the future.
Well, Richard, let me bring you in. What exactly are you looking to accomplish with this takeover?
Ian, good morning. Gosh, I'll try and give you the short answer rather than the long run. Firstly, I support the Chief Minister in the regulation of the various aspects of crypto, and indeed broad regulation was one of the things that attracted us to Gibraltar. It's English language, it's an established legal system, and it has the regulation covering all the different aspects. But what we're focused on is actually small cap companies and early stage companies across the Middle East, Europe, and Africa. And Gibraltar has been a nexus for trade with those regions for hundreds of years. So this is a straightforward move into financial trade and making that digital.
What do you see the mix of transactions being on the exchange a year from now? I mean, clearly Gibraltar has pivoted towards cryptocurrencies in a big way. How do you see the mix of assets being traded?
Well, let's be clear that I see crypto having a role not just as a currency. So NFTs, where we've already announced we're doing an NFT program next year, the NFTs can be used to establish ownership of real-world assets. So if you're trying to invest in an early stage business in the UAE, for example, doing that through an NFT structure can give certainty of ownership and makes it much more easy to transact. Now, there's legislation across the world that covers that. In terms of a split between the trade on the exchange, we are not trying to compete with the other exchanges in Europe. We are trying to focus on the early stage businesses across Africa, the Middle East, and India. That's our ambition.
So, Chief Minister, obviously Gibraltar made the decision a while ago cryptocurrencies and become a sort of friendly environment from a regulatory point of view. Any regrets on that, given the direction of travel with crypto assets this year?
Well, not at all. I don't think you can look at the value of a particular currency and decide that it was right or wrong to regulate it for that reason. I mean, just look at the fluctuations even in what we might call the traditional currencies, the stable coins. I think that it's important that people who want to invest in the space are able to do so in a way that is safe and in a way that is not relegated to the rules of the Wild West, with might being right simply because somebody's pocket may be deeper than another. And that's what we're doing. We're creating a regulatory space which will ensure that the dealings in digital assets are as protected as you might expect in physical assets. And this is a work in progress. Of course, we're not finished yet, but we're very pleased to be prime movers in that respect. And that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about today in the City of London at the Guildhall and our Gibraltar Day events.
And it is Gibraltar's National Day, I think, today, isn't it?
Well, it's not Gibraltar's National Day. That was on the 10th of September. And of course, we've all had our saddest September. So we didn't celebrate our National Day this year. But it is the day in London when we come and talk about what it is that Gibraltar is doing in the context of our financial services. And we burnish that fantastic relationship between Gibraltar and the United Kingdom generally in an evening reception with those who help us in the wider context of the Gibraltar-UK relationship, in particular now, the negotiation of a treaty between the United Kingdom and the European Union about Gibraltar's future relationship with the EU post-Brexit.
Well, forgive me for getting that wrong. Thank you for clarifying.
Not at all.
Richard, the value of this transaction hasn't been disclosed. Give me an idea.
It hasn't been disclosed yet. We will disclose that when it actually closes. But I think there's another factor here with Gibraltar that you should think about. Gibraltar's GDP is around 3 billion, and that splits up into 30% finance, 30% shipping, and 30% tourism, with the balance being the Ministry of Defence. Now, what I think we can do with a rejuvenated stock exchange is we can vastly increase that financial services aspect of Gibraltar. And I hope that we can build that to be a much higher percentage of GDP.
OK, Richard Poulden, Fabian Picato, thanks very much for joining me.